In this video, we'll talk about string formatting. So previously, we've been able to create strings in a static way, strings that don't change as the program continues. Today, we'll learn how to change those strings, either update them with variables, make them lower or uppercase, and stuff like that. So let's start off with a simple string. Do my string is equal to hello, this is my string. So last week you had an assignment to check to see if a user entered a word that started with a consonant or a vowel. And in a lot of cases, you had to manually check to see if it was lowercase or uppercase. So you had A, E, I, O, U lowercase, and then separate checks for capital A, capital E, and so on and so forth. One useful thing is to always compare things in totally lowercase settings. So if I have my string lower is equal to hello, this is my string, even though the words are the same, if I compared these two, if I did print my string equal my string lower, it will be false. However, there's a function that you can use. So if we do, I'm just going to print my string dot lower, then it makes everything lowercase. But notice that it hasn't changed your string at all. It's just a temporary thing. So if we did print my string right after that, then it would be right back to its original capitalization. So dot lower is a temporary change. So if we wanted to compare the lowercase my string to my string lower, we would do that inside the comparison like this. In this case, see, it has turned true because we're comparing this all lowercase string to this string, but that has had the lower applied to it. Or you can save the lowercase string back to the original string if you want to make that change permanent. So we would do my string is equal to my string dot lower, and in this case we can remove this because now if you print out my string, it's going to be the lowercase version. So see, it's the entirely lowercase version of my string, and it is equal to my string lower now. There's also, as you might have guessed, upper. So if I do upper, then it makes everything uppercase. And there's also something called title, which capitalizes the first letter of every word. It's not very smart, so all those English rules for what should and should not be capitalized in a title don't really apply. As you can see, in our English rules, is usually would not be capitalized in a title word, but it is capitalized by the title function, so it's not that smart. So another thing we need to learn how to do with strings is how to modify them with variables. So let's say I have my name is equal to Georgia, and we want to print out a welcome message to me. So let's construct the welcome message. So we'll make it welcome message is equal to welcome, and we'll print the welcome message. So if I run this, it prints welcome, but that is not very welcoming. It's not very personal. So let's change the message to say welcome Georgia, but instead of just typing Georgia in, we're going to change it so we can use a variable in this string to update it. So if you had like a list of names, you could loop through it and do welcome your name for each one. So we wanted to say welcome Georgia. So we're going to start off with welcome. We want to make sure there's a space at the end because it won't put spaces in for you in this type of formatting. And then we can add my name to it. And then we want that exclamation point at the end, so plus again, and then exclamation point. So now if I run it, it will say, welcome Georgia. So that's one way to format strings, using the addition operator to add strings together to form a final string. Notice though, if we have an example that's my number, 23, and we want to say, welcome user number 23, then we get an error. It says it can't convert integers into strings implicitly. That's telling you that it's trying to add an integer, or you could also have it as a float and it would do the same thing, to a string, and it doesn't know how to do that. So there's a way to turn numbers into strings so that you can add them with other strings like this, and that's using the str function. So if we do str around my number, then it turns it into a string so it can be added to another string. So that's one way to format strings. The other common way is to use the format function. So let's say that I wanted to do the same example, welcome user number 23. To use the format, we're going to add dot format to the end of the string, and then open parentheses, and in those parentheses, my number. So this is where it gets a little tricky. So inside the string, where you want my number to go in, you're going to use two curly braces. And that's telling Python where you want that variable to be slotted. Notice that we don't have to turn my number into a string in order to use the format. And if we print it out, we have welcome user number 23 again. So it works in the same way. It's just a slightly different way of formatting it. And sometimes this can be a little bit more readable. With this format, it also makes it easy to include multiple pieces of information, multiple variables. So let's say we wanted to say welcome user number, welcome name, comma, user number blank. So we have my name equal to Georgia again, and we want welcome my name, comma, user number 23. In this case, it matters what order it goes in when you're inside these parentheses. So we want my name to go in the first set of curly braces, so that will come first. And notice how we've gone off the page, or in order to keep everything visible, I've moved the second argument of that function to a new line. That is totally fine, just like when you can have lists that split across lines, you can have function calls that also split across lines. Just make sure that you're ending with a comma and that the next function or the next argument starts the new line and you have the function closed properly. It's also good practice to have it all on the same column like this. So you have the open parentheses here, and then everything in those open parentheses start on the same column, so it keeps your code looking neat and readable. So in this case, it's going to say welcome Georgia, comma, user number 23. So that's how you can do formatting easily with multiple variables in one string.